Alfie.
Hi.
You mean you don't want this? Really?
You can't see anything up here, wait.
Listen.
Hey now.
Get your good eye. Get the good eye. Get my good eye. Get the good eye.
Nick Vucci and Richie. You can come out, Richie. This is behind the scenes. Nick Vucci and Richie. You can come out, Richie. This is behind the scenes. We'll throw a little light on the subject. What do you think? All right, now do something, animate yourself.
Hands.
Kiss now? No, I'm sorry.
Like, Pam Sue is looking for.
Okay. She probably.
In fact, I got knocked over one of the tables that handed me out of the sewing machine, and so I was flashing her, so I had to hire her nephew to run the car. So Joe the Sword.
Fred.
Yo, oh, hello!
The man that made it all possible, Fred.
I don't know about that.
Yes,
He made
you
it
are.
Impossible. That's the key. But you never know what happens till it happens. It's only rock and roll.
That's true.
That's what I tell people. It's only rock and roll. Don't take it too seriously. Just
until somebody
have fun
loses
with
an eye.
it. I like it.
James Taylor was one.
No, so I
That's
never
good.
go
We're
to.
gonna practice one, or
Do you want to do one?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
It's up to you.
No, I think we're still waiting for someone to do a legitimate sound check. But I was thinking if we could do something.
I know, but I can look past
I'm sneaking a little shot of you. Oh, that is right up your alley, Kelly.
I just gotta find out where I put my sink. Get rid of water, so I'll take it off your hands. Thank you.
But it's just it's triple layer, so it's subsweats and evaporates on the outside.
What the heck is this in this tux?
There's someone behind me?
Okay.
Is that a good camera?
TV show. Yeah, it is a good camera.
You'll be all washed out.
Was it big?
I'm just happy they didn't charge me to come in.
Not look nice, but it gets me in for free.
All you music lovers. The Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is 3 years old now.
One more time, one more time.
Like we said we would do, we're keeping the faith with the music, the faces, and the memories. We've got 8 board members now. We've got a huge bunch of volunteers, and we have your donations, and that's making it possible. At intermission, sign up to become a voting member along with us to choose an inductee for next year, for 2020. We'll have a group of maybe 3 or 4, and we're going to let you choose if you've gotten your voting member. trustees. Don Bonnell is going to come up and talk with you. Don.
I want to thank George and Paul for giving me the opportunity to introduce the first induction today. I went to write down stuff last night and said, I don't need to write this stuff down. And I know I want to speak from the heart. We went to elementary school together. We've been friends for 40 plus years. He played in my club the whole time I owned it. I've gone out and seen him with his band, do acoustic shows. He's a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and musician. And I hope everybody gives it up for the one, the only, the man, Nick Everett.
If the space that we live in can't be divided no more, if the beauty of time has washed on our shore, if the nuclear age has to have its beginning, will you be there with me in the end? Would you be there in the end? Would you be there in the end? In the end, sing it. Would you be there in the end, in the end? Where each of us, I've been wandering from where we are. Gotta take some time, stop and count all my blessings, all my problems in this world can be solved with a heart of fur. All the changes after start with me and no one else. Love is the space inside our hearts. Love is the ache when we're apart. Love is the reason that we cry. Love is still here when we die. But take a second to believe all the love that comes to me. It's all I need, all that I've ever wanted.
How are y'all? It's my pleasure to be up here. Nice seeing y'all. You know, the Best of Jazz list always featured this duo. Dexter plays both keyboards and guitar. He was taught by Boise Lowery, his uncle. Boise also was Clifford Brown's teacher. Yeah, nice guy. Dexter studied at the University of Delaware and the renowned Berklee School of Music in Boston.
Oh,
In the honor of the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Miss Alfie Moss, Miss Dr. Coons. This is Mr. Dr. Coons. This is Jazz Royalty.
I'm the voice of Even Steel. And with all this great music, everybody backstage is dancing. So the aisles are yours. If you want to get up and shake that thing. When George and Paula and I were first discussing the inception of the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we needed a beginning to the story of rock and roll in Delaware. My memory only went back as far as Teddy and the Continentals and maybe Bob and Justine. Right? But we knew there was more to the story. And it was at that time that Michael Duncan, who's known on radio as Michael Ace, entered the picture. Michael was a collector of 45s, and not just any kind of 45s, but the rare ones. And among the 45s that he collected were 45s from Delaware bands before the 1960s, on such labels as Blue Hen Records, Dandy, Universal, ABS, and World Records. These were all records that were made in Delaware, 45s. And in addition to that, we began to learn about artists that came before the 50s. Groups like Andy and the Gigolos, from whom Vic Holbeck played way back in the day, and he was an inductee last year. Singers like Carmen Poppy. Frankie and the C-Notes. And a person who was inducted last year, Lou Katz. And these people were all on those small labels. And without Michael Ace's help, we would have not known what the beginning of rock and roll in Delaware was. Wow. And not only did he tell us who these groups are, he had these recordings, and he allowed us to play them and make copies so that we could all hear them. So for that reason, Michael Ace deserves to be in the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for helping us to get a beginning to that story. So let me introduce to you Michael Duncan, also known as Michael Ace. Come on in, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the music scene started with me many years ago because my oldest brother, Junior, he had hundreds of 45s in our parents' closet. He introduced me to such bands as the Johnny Burnett Trio, Bill Haley and the Comets, and some other people who were pretty much forgotten about now. Rusty Canyon and the Banana Boys. Jody Reynolds, Boyd Bennett and the Rockets, J.P. Richardson, who was the son of the Big Bopper, he became a good friend of mine, Jimmy Cavallo and the House Rockers, Eulin Duvall, Eddie Cochran, who remains one of my favorites of all time, and Fabian. Wow. He was great man. I unfortunately never got a chance to work with him directly. But I want to thank the people at WBUD who had me on the shows with them and introduced me to the radio. Brian Lee was probably the first person to have me on. I did some shows with Matt Thomas, he had a Cruising America show. Of course, everyone knows Even Steven. And Chuck Carver, our station manager, he was the one who said, you gotta keep coming back. And I want to thank the sex symbols in life that got me through. Yvonne DiCarlo, Betty Page, Vampira, and Mamie Van Doren. And I want to give a special thanks to my real buddy who I really love very sincerely, my favorite animal of all time, Digger McSquirrel. Digger and I shared an apartment for 5 years. She was a wonderful roommate, really. And I want to say a special thanks to a guy who they always said he would never make it and never amount to anything. As a matter of fact, his father-in-law asked his wife, don't marry him, he'll never amount to anything. Former President Warren G. Harding. He did amount to something. So, thanks to all those people, and thanks to everybody, and thanks for getting me inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
They made records in Harrington, Delaware, on that Blue Hen Records label. There were 3 of them. Jimmy Staten, Mort Barker, and Honey Goschel. Now Jimmy Staten is not the best of health. He lives in Kentucky, but I've talked to him on a number of occasions, and he told me how the Rockabye Band came about. And it happened one day when he was taking the ferry from the tip of the Delmarva Peninsula to Norfolk, Virginia. Those were the days before they had the tunnel bridge thing that they have now. So he's taking the ferry, and on that trip, they had on a Virginia radio station that was being piped into the ferry. And he heard this music. It was from a young man who was more or less a regional star at that time, whose name was Elvis Presley. And he heard this music coming out of Memphis by Elvis Presley. They called it rockabilly back then. Jimmy said, that's the way we got to go. He was doing a lot of great country music then, but the backbeat caught his ear, and he decided, well, as I said, that's the way to go. So when he got back to Delaware, he got together with a couple of musicians. Mort Marker, who was the elder of the group, he lives now in Glendora, California. And with the younger of the group, I think I'm right, his name was Honey Goschel. Honey is here with us. With some musicians, and we're going to replicate some of that sound from the mid-50s. So, welcome to Honey Goschel and the Rockabye Band. said, Morton Arbor lives in California. He's the elder. I'll be mailing his award to him with our congratulations. I'd like to ask thank you. Don't get old, please. Honey is the younger, am I right, honey? Where are you, honey? Little show. He's the younger of the Rockabye Band. He is the original who played on stage for you. And for that reason, he gets the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much for being out. We'd like to thank everybody, all of our friends and followers throughout the year. Great thanks to all of our very close friends and family who's with us tonight. And a special thanks to 3 people that really helped us to get this thing together. George and his wife, Paula, and this man here, Stephen Leach, which you hear on radio every Saturday. Thanks again. Appreciate you showing up.
Okay, nearly 40 years of Dr. Harmonica and Rocket 88. Blues like you have never ever heard. Mark Keneally, that's 2 N's and 2 L's. Make sure you spell it right. Mark's a member of the Blues Hall of Fame. Quentin Jones is a member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. And this is a band that puts on a show. You're going to see what I mean. I give you...
So I got to change the way I'm living or write a song about it. So I wrote this song in Ocean City, Maryland, 1985. I hope you like it. A little change of plans for the boys, but I'm already done seem to be working tonight, so we're going to give it a shot here. Ready?
for Delaware is a gentleman named Johnny Neal. Johnny Neal played with the Longo Brothers. Johnny Neal wrote an incredible amount of songs, fabulous, wonderful songs. And Johnny Neal's not doing really well. So we have his longtime, best ever friend here to say a little bit about him, and she's going to take a medallion back home to him. Let's hear a round of applause for Johnny so he knows how much we love him.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and John called me about this award and asked me if I would accept this for him. He said, "You know me better than anyone." So here I am, honored to accept this for John. As many of you know, John suffered a stroke in July
Yeah.
and is working hard every day to heal. Please say a prayer and send positive thoughts to him through this difficult time. I, like all of you, look forward to seeing him perform again. And it will happen because anyone who knows John, when he puts his mind to something he wants, there's no change in his stubborn self. He will move forward with time and patience. I know this is a hard time right now, but he has the love of his life, his music, and his loving wife, Christine, to reach that goal. I have known John for almost 40 years. And through those years, I think I have a copy of everything he ever wrote, which many of you have never heard. He would send me his demos and I would provide him with the feedback. He would be calling me, did you receive it? Did you listen to it? What do you think? There were so many genres of music, from ballads to blues. There would be times when he would come home and I would bring out the old tapes and put them on and play them for him, which always was my favorite time, watching him light up hearing the song he forgot about. I cherish those times of sharing the joy it brought to him. We not only share a forever friendship, we also share a daughter and 3 grandchildren. I remember when John was making his album One Hot Night in 1980 at Hearn's Recording Studio in St. George's. There was a many long, long nights there. I remember thinking, if I have to hear that song one more time. Here are some of John's accomplishments. When John was 12 years old, he made his first record, Johnny Neal and the Shapes of Soul. He made 745s. In 1980, he recorded One Hot Night with the original Johnny Neal Band, which included Tommy Alderson, Randy Coleman, Joe Carvalker, and Bill Doody. In 81, he did a live album at the Grand called Should Have Been There. In 84, he made the move to Nashville, where his songs were recorded by other artists such as Montgomery Gentry, Delbert McClinton, John Mayall, John Lewis Walker, and many others. In 1990, John got the opportunity to be part of the Allman Brothers Band and tour with them during the 7 Turns tour, where he co-written Good Clean Fun from the Allman Brothers 7 Turns album. The 90s, John became a member of Lou Floyd, a jam band doing material Pink Floyd with Mark Ford from the Black Crowes, Alex from Government Mule, Barry Oakley Jr. from OKB Band and Bloodline, and the late Alan Woody, Government Mule. After Blue Floyd, John and Matt Apps recorded X2 Factor. In 2000, he released Late Night Breakfast, recorded in his studio, Straight Up Sound. In 2002, John toured with the Italian rock band Wind in Italy. In 2004, Gunmetal Blue, released on Waker Records. 2005, Coming At Ya. 2008, Johnny Neal and the Italian Experience. In 2010, his solo album, Harmonious. In 2012, John was the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys with his work with the Allman Brothers. In 2012, Every Kind of Blues. In 2013, Criminal Element 1, 2, and 3. In 2014, My Kind of Christmas. In 2016, East Coast Sound. In 2016, John celebrated 50 years of music with his double CD 66/16, which included his favorites from 96 to 2016. In 2019, his newest release, Clean Break. John's talent always inspired me, from his songwriting, playing, and of course his soulful singing. When John gets in that groove with his music, the possibilities are endless. I know Johnny will want to thank everyone for their support through the years, and he is looking forward to playing again in the near future. I know I look forward to seeing him rocking again. Amen. And one last thing about Johnny, he never, ever forgot where he came from. Thank you.
Talk about a list of accomplishments. Wanted to show you this. Okay, this is a Johnny Neal album that was recorded next door in the big Grand. Pretty cool. And I had to laugh when I saw it because he autographed it, of course, but he autographed it along this girl's name. So funny. So very funny. Okay, let's take a 15-minute break. I know we're running late. I hope you are
exercise. Please give her 2 complimentary shirts.
Making whoopee and shows you her versatility. So I'm going to say, please welcome Deb Shane.
Isn't this an incredible activity? First, I would like to once again thank George and Paula Walkine for conceiving and birthing this celebration honoring our Delaware music greats. Now in its second glorious year. At our age, it's about all we can conceive and birth, but as life cycles do ebb and flow, we must remember those fans, roadies, and musicians that are no longer making beautiful music on this earth with us. This part of the ceremony today honors those that are gone. Please take a quiet minute and think back to those eccentric, talented, good people that we shared our lives with. For the music we celebrate today still flows through all of them too. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved us.
This is Mario Rocco, who's been one of the great entertainers in Delaware history. He's entertained thousands of people with a great, has this incredible uncanny ability to imitate voices from Elvis. The one I like is Neil Diamond. There's a whole bunch of others. He's been an incredible spirit and soul that deserves to be recognized. And without any more further ado, let's bring out Mario Rocco. Let's have a hand.
Oh yeah, how you guys doing? She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. She likes the theater. She's always late. Showing her love and those people she don't like. That's why my lady is a champ. She likes the free, cool, knockdown wind in her hair. Life without care. It used to be there. She hates California, and it's cold, and it's there. That's why the lady, like a jacket. That's why the lady. That's why my lady's a tramp. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've been waiting for this moment for 45 years. I would be willing to wait another 45 years, but I'm glad it came now with my health issues and all. But I'm honored to be amongst some great entertainers back here. I get to hang out backstage, and it's pretty funny because throughout the backstage, everybody's saying, "How come you never come see me?" Well, we're always working the same nights. We're musicians, remember? Anyway, what I'm going to try to do in the 40 minutes they're allowing me to have. All right, 30 minutes. We're going to try to take you on a little roller coaster. Now, I chose not to have a live band for tonight's performance because with my tracks I was able to kind of edit all the songs down. So you're going to hear short versions of my roller coaster in my music career. Is that okay? All right, cool. These guys in the back are going, "Yeah, you should have hired me. I would work for $50 tonight." Yeah. Anyway, this is the very first song in 1978, way before your time.
1978, the very first song that I sang in a band that I actually got paid to be in. And the gig was at a place you might remember at the airport, the Greater Airport. Anybody know? Cheryl Sky Lounge, yes. Cheryl Sky Lounge. Come on. How many, raise your hand if you ever met your girlfriend there. Come on. And the wife didn't know you were there. Come on, tell me the truth. I know what kind of place that was. Okay, anyway, this is the very first song I ever sang, live with the band, and got paid for it. Hey, guys.
I don't know how this whole business started. Got you thinking that I have been untrue. You think I'm so enough to feel like an egg. I gotta find my baby. Well, I need you to soothe my head, to turn my blue heart to red.
Contributor of music in Delaware. His name is Dick Schmidt. He's the head cook, owner, and music master of Blue Crab Grill at the Suburban Shopping Center. Off of Elton Road in Newark, Delaware. Dick and I go back many years to when the Deer Park was owned by a very tough guy, an old school Jewish mobster, George Thompson, who was married to a very beautiful woman from the Bahamas, who married into the Sinclair oil family, had a son named Sinclair, who stole a lot of money from George and anybody else. But anyway, Dick has been a wonderful supporter of the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this is going to be short. Are you Santa Claus? Yes. Without further ado, Santa Claus, Dick is going to give us. You got more hands? Right. I'll hold you.
I'd like to thank George and Paula and all the members of the board for giving me this. I kind of feel like George thought this was the only way he could get me here today. I got the empty one, so you can see what this is worth. It's okay, George. I guess a little history, as George said, we go back to days in Deer Park. I worked there for a little over 2 decades. We had a lot of music there over the years. It started out with jazz.
These guys, the trade winds. Carmine Hoffity, their founder, kept them moving with his lead vocals and an instrument called the quarter box. From the late 50s to the mid 60s, they were often on the Wham's Top 30 list. Some of you remember that. Honest, they still practice every Thursday. It's crazy good. In 1973, they were named the official band of Newcastle County. After all, they played at over 1,100 weddings. Now, Kate Hoffity was an absolute delight when we interviewed them this summer, urging us to contact the Catholic Diocese of Newcastle County to put in an ad about today's induction event. Time to capitalize on all those weddings, all those Catholic weddings. Okay. Peggy was Carmine's wife and their booking manager all those years. Trey Wynn's music today, this performance is dedicated to the Hoffities. So, we're getting close to go. Need a mic? You want this one? So, here we go, back to the 50s.
Well, let me tell you a little story first. Carmen and I started in 1959. Now, if we're going to do the math, that was 60 years ago. Carmen and I. And John Delapesta, cousin back on the drums, started, and Walter Taylor, who's no longer with us. Then in 1962, we did the first record called Wildwood Twist. And later on, in 1965, Dave Caserta and Bob Young came with the Trade Winds. Scott came a few years later. So we're going to start off with the first one from 1962, Wildwood Twist.
We're still on the sidewalk.
was a full-fledged star in 1959 at Cameo Parkway Records. Caesar and the Times continue to perform today. The Times' first hit record, So Much in Love, still has all of us singing along and feeling dreamy. He came to our 2018 induction. Please welcome Caesar Berry to the stage. Okay, Lou Costello always wanted to be a DJ. He loved the oldies. Today, he spins the oldies every day in the midday section on WBLT. He does his show live from Delaware Park every other Wednesday, and you need to be there. It's fabulous. Don't miss this. It's Doo-Wop Diner at 7 p.m. The show is live on the air. The Delaware performers, some folks you will recognize, Rick Griffin, Michelle Pasapola, some folks who will surprise you with their beautiful voices. But he's there. So get over to Doo-Wop Diner. And these, come on up, Luke. Where are you? Can we do it? Yeah, I said they're scared of stinkers. Okay, these guys here are here for one particular reason, so I'm going to hand the mic over to them. And here we go.
First of all, I'd like to thank Paula and George and the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for inviting me to this occasion tonight. And one thing I have to say, I'm trying to make this short. I am always on the stage. And whenever I come to these affairs, I'm always entertained by some great talent and musicians. I don't usually get to see this. And I really, really enjoy it. I mean that from the heart. What else can I say? Let me come on, you can say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy's been my pal for a long time. I've had him on stage with me many times. He's the real deal, he's genuine, and he's the original member of a wonderful group called The Times. This is my buddy Caesar. I will tell you this. If you've listened to my radio program, you know that I have taken that place in Cleveland and X'd it out. They call it a Hall of Fame, I call it a Hall of Shame. Because I'm telling you right now, they never recognized talent like this. And we've had some stars tonight. I'm serious stuff. It made me so angry, I drove out to Cleveland and went to the Hall of Fame, and then I realized, ain't no fame. It's all shame. But not here. The Delaware Hall of Fame knows what's going on, and they know how to show their appreciation for true, talented people. All of our performers, give them a nice round of applause. Well, when did you first meet Lois?
Oh, wow, man, we go back, I think about four years ago, I think. And we did a show here at the Grand Opera. We met her, and we became good friends, very good friends. You know, when tragedy hit my family, she was the first one to come to Philadelphia. And we made her an official time met. We did tonight to induct her into the Delaware Valley Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we'd like to say, Lois, come and join us.
Hello, everyone. I want to start off by thanking George and Paula and their board of directors for honoring me today. Ever since I met them when they interviewed me a few years ago, we become best friends. Also, I want to thank the many volunteers that helped make Blu-ray Productions the great success it is. Wayne Salisbury, who's an usher here at the Grand, was one of my great helpers and did a lot to market my shows. I want to thank all the people who purchased tickets and sold out at all of my shows, which was amazing, 1,140 seats. I want to thank Lou Costello, who emceed all of my shows, Caesar Berry and Lou for inducting me. And I want to let you know that Roberta, Caesar's wife, and his daughter Tiana are here. And they came Chi-Chi Divine of the Hippies, if you remember them. She did Memory Lane. Here she is. Right here, she came to honor me. Let's see. Diane Leontis, who has been a very close friend of mine for many years. Here she is. Carlin and Fran Moffitt, who most of you know, she's here. They're here to honor me. Rick Rippon, who opened every one of my shows, and he has been my strong arm support person for many years. Ray Parker, who put up the money for the shows. And, let's see, Jay Trainer from Jay and the Americans. I used to spend hours and hours on the phone with him with every show I did, and he would guide me through and help me, and he was really such a great force in my shows becoming the success that they were. And of course, without Lou Costello emceeing, without Caesar, who, by the way, I spend every New Year's Eve with Caesar, his wife, and his daughter. They honor me by doing that. And Rick Rippon, I could have never made it without him. And I want to thank everyone for the honor of putting me into the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And thank you, guys.
This is well deserved. And I have to tell you something, folks. Lois never quits. She loves what she does. And this is for all of you because it's coming up in about a week or so. She had called me in June and she said, that radio program you have, Doo Wop Diamond, can you take it on the road? I said, can you write a check that won't bounce? Yes, I can. And she never has, I'm teasing. But anyway, she calls me up and she says, you're booked at Delaware Park. Bring the radio show, we'll do it live. We started in July. We'll be there. Our next event is October the 2nd. It's a Wednesday. Lois said, you know it's your birthday. And I said, I do.
70 years old.
Cut that out. And she said they're baking a cake for 300 people. And we got a whole bunch of people coming. You guys know who Charlie Gracie is, right? Charlie Gracie's going to be there. Oh yeah, Charlie Gracie's going to be there. The Times are going to be there. Chi-Chi from Memory Lane going to be there. A whole bunch of people. And guess what? Because all of you made it here today for this wonderful event, you're all invited. Radio program starts at 7 o'clock. Delaware Park. Come on out and join us. No charge. We'll see if we can save a little cake for you. Thank you. God bless.
From 6 to 10 a.m. right here at WVUD Newark.
Thanks, Mitch. You're right about that. From Louis Jordan to Jimi Hendrix, from Billie Holiday to Janis Joplin, we've got the hot and the cool tunes from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. We've even got tunes for squares as well as hip cats. On Bop Time, you might even hear some ditties from the Roaring 20s and Depression-era 30s. So on Saturday morning, when you hear Buffalo Bob shout out, say, and what time is it? It's Bop Time. And hello, cats and kitties.
I'm Even Steven. We're going to go back to the beginning again, to the early 1950s. Delaware's first black disc jockey was the voice you heard, not mine, the first voice, and that was Mitch Thomas. And anyone who grew up in the 50s, that was a familiar voice. Mitch Thomas was, as I said, Delaware's first black disc jockey. He began in the early 50s on a radio station called WTUX. And then after a short stint in the Army during the Korean War, he returned to Wilmington, continued radio at radio station WILM. And he was a mainstay there throughout the 50s, in the evenings and in the afternoons at the start of his career there. He was one of the top disc jockeys in town, he was. Not only did he do radio in Wilmington, playing a lot of the great music from those times, but he also produced the Five Diamonds, who were inducted last year in the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He also produced a Saturday afternoon dance program on Channel 12, which was a commercial channel back then, on Saturdays in the afternoon. He did this from 1955 to 1958. He had many guests, including on his program Frankie Lyman, Mary Wells, Ray Charles, Lee Andrews, Jackie Wilson. The one thing that really happened on his afternoon television show on Saturday was the youngsters from right here in Wilmington, drawing on the ancestral memory of a dance called the cakewalk from ragtime era, invented a dance called the stroll, which became a popular group dance throughout the 50s. In addition to that, Mitch Thomas occasionally emceed at the Club Baby Grand. Not this one, but the one down here at 9th and Poplar, now Clifford Brown Walk. And you can still hear him introducing Jimmy Smith at the Club Baby Grand. The album is still available, and you can hear that famous voice again. Personally, I listened to Mitch Thomas throughout the late 50s. He played rock and roll before rock and roll. And by that I mean rock and roll before 1955. It was called rhythm and blues. In the 1990s, Mitch Thomas did his final radio with me on my Saturday program. He is a real legend, and he deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of his contribution. I regret that Mitch is not here to receive this award, but we do have his son who will take the award for Mitch Thomas. Michael?
Thank you, everyone, for being here this afternoon. It's truly an honor. And I know Dad is looking down on us right now. I get my voice from Dad. I look like Dad, and I'm proud of that. I want to thank all my family members that are here today and who made the trip to Wilmington for this event. And I want to really focus on my aunt Jackie Morrison. Aunt Jackie, can you wave your hand, please? Aunt Jackie is the leader of the Thomas family, and is my dad's youngest sister. And obviously she knew Dad before I did, but she used to tell the story of Dad taking all the books in the house and using them to imitate being a drummer. He used to tear up all the books in the house. So that was the first sign that Dad loved music and was focusing on music. The great thing about Dad is I was very blessed to have a father like him. A caring father. He was a loving husband to my mother, Odessa. He was a leader. And he was very supportive of me. He loved the city of Wilmington and enjoyed bringing top-notch entertainment to the city. You know, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore, they got all the big shows, but Dad said, we can do something here. We have some great people here. Let's bring some of the talent here to Wilmington. And as Steve mentioned, Jimmy Smith, I love jazz, was at the Baby Grand. At the State Armory, I remember seeing James Brown, Stevie Wonder, Martha and the Vandellas, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell. I had the opportunity as a young kid to go. I couldn't go to the shows because I was young, but Dad would take me to the Armory in the afternoon to watch James Brown and his band practice. So I would see the entire show in about 45 minutes because James would come out, start on time, he would practice, and he would say, okay, let's do Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. We're going to do it for 2 minutes. We're going to do this, 2 minutes. And he would work on different things, work on the splits, take the microphone and tap it, let it fall out, spin, split, come back up, and catch it as it comes on the backside. And I'm sitting there as a kid going, whoa. It's amazing. Got a chance to meet a young Stevie Wonder at the time, little Stevie Wonder at the time. And it was fantastic. I got a chance to go to the Latin Casino. Dad would take me to the Latin Casino, which used to be over in Cherry, New Jersey, to see all the big shows, Sinatra, James Brown, the Supremes. So I had the opportunity to see a lot of the stars back in the day. And also on the TV show, Ray Charles, and also the Isley Brothers, where there were only 3 of the Isley Brothers. So Dad was the first African American to have a TV dance show, and he was so excited when Don Cornelius out of Chicago started with Soul Train, but Dad was 20 years before Don, but he really supported Don and loved to see what the future was at that particular time. I had the opportunity, I worked for Coca-Cola for 20 years in sales and marketing, and we sponsored the Soul Train Music Awards. I had the opportunity to meet Don Cornelius, and he knew about my dad, and he thanked me and said, tell your father, this was back in about 1997, he said, you tell your father, thank you, because he helped me to do what I'm doing right now. And that really made me feel great. So once again, Dad, here's your cheers loud and clear. My family and I, we are excited and we're happy to accept the award on his behalf. God bless everyone. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming today. Thank you.
When your first, this way, when your first professional gig was for Brenda Lee, you probably have some serious talent. Bones Malone plays trombone and half a dozen other horns. He played, and this is just a short version, he played for Frank Zappa in '72, Blood, Sweat, and Tears in '73, arranged for Saturday Night Live from '75 to '85, was musical director for Saturday Night Live from '81 to '85. He and the horn section are world famous, really. He was part of the Blues Brothers inventors, he was part of the music, and he was in the Blues Brothers movies. And he knows Club Fred, so he's going to talk about him. Here we go.
Thank you so much. In 2007, my friend David Fishoff, who produces the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp in New York City, asked me to put a horn section together to play one song each with 12 different bands at the concert at B.B. King's Club in New York. So most of these bands are led by well-known musicians in the rock and roll field. So I saw that we were going to play, anybody remember a song called Give Me Some Lovin'? By Spencer Davis Group. Well, one of the songs we're going to play is Give Me Some Lovin', and the leader of the band is Spencer Davis. And guess who Spencer Davis's organ player is? None other than Fred Dawson. And he sounded really good, too. So So Fred and I met and we talked, and he liked our horn section, and he said, well, why don't you guys come down and play with my band, Club Fred, and in Wilmington. I said, we'd be glad to. And so he hired us to play the after party at the DuPont Hotel after the Grand Opera House benefit concert. I guess it was later the same year to induct Club Fred into the Delaware Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank the Academy. And more than that, I'd like to thank you all for being here today and supporting this event, supporting live music at the venues that we have here in Wilmington and throughout the state. So that's why we do what we do, because we just so enjoy live music. There's nothing quite like it. And thank you for being here today. Thank you so much.
Fred, I have a question for you.
I only have one answer to that. What's that?
Who's the toughest act to follow of all the people who've been on this stage before us?
Let me count the ways. Anybody?
All of them.
All of them, yes. I want you to take one. I'm here for all of them. All of them on this today. What do you say? Great job. All of them.
For them, for us, music is home. So let's go home. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cause you don't care.